Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Jessica Walters. I am a health fitness program manager with Corporate Fitness Works, and I am really excited to guide you through a delightful hour-long yoga practice. We're just going to focus on general relaxation, going to try and hit all of the typical aches and pains, relaxing the shoulders, finding some stretching and space in the hips, and also the lower legs. Okay, so we're going to start out today in Savasana. I encourage you to just gather whatever props you typically enjoy during your yoga practice. I will do my best to encourage you to use them as needed. But remember, every day is different, everyone's body is different. So if I haven't suggested that you use a prop and you really think it would help, go for it. You know your body best. We're not going to have any specific water breaks, but you're here today to find what feels good for you. So if you need to take a water break, take a water break. If you need to just take a couple minutes laying down back in Savasana or coming into child's pose, whatever works for you works for me. This is your time. Thank yourself for creating it in your day. And let's go ahead and lay down on our backs to come into Savasana. It's always awesome before your practice starts, if you can, to take some time to really set your space up. So maybe you put on some quiet music to enjoy. Maybe you dimmed the lights or sprayed some aromatherapy. Whatever it is that helps you to just relax and come into your breath, that's what we're looking for right now. Remember that you made this time for your yoga practice, so enjoy it as much as possible, doing your best to stay focused on the here and now. If and when you notice other outward thoughts just popping into your head, you can take a moment, recognize them, and let them know you'll get back to them later. If you continue to find that it's a challenge for you to stay in the moment, consider counting your breath, taking the time to count the length of your inhale, really being aware and intentional of spending a moment with your lungs a little bit full, with your diaphragm expanded, and then working to create even a slower exhale can really just help you be here right now. Okay, so here we are in Savasana. Heels are close together, toes can fall open. Let's start with those arms close by your side so that your body can easily circulate. You're welcome to close your eyes or find one spot on the ceiling above you to focus on. If your eyes are moving, your mind is moving, so just do the best that you can as we begin today's practice. Just come into your breath. Just start to notice how your body is feeling today. Take a little scan from the top of your head down to the bottom of your toes and notice if or where you might be holding any tension. Try to work with your inhale to be aware of any tight spots, anything that feels uncomfortable, be it physical or mental, and using your exhale to either create additional space in those physically tense points or just working to let it go, especially if it doesn't serve you, if there's nothing that you can do about it, if it's already been done, it's over. All you can do is just know that it happened, move forward, and continue with the best of intentions. It's normal if you have trouble creating stillness here in Savasana, but please do your best to just work to find the stillness. Relax your head a little deeper into the mat, opening up the chest, allowing the back of the shoulders to melt. Hands, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Your fingertips might curl in towards your hands. It's normal. Just notice the rise of your belly with your inhale. And that belly button coming closer to your spine with your exhale. You might even want to start practicing some ujjayi breathing, a slight constriction of the throat. So by pressing your tongue up to the roof of your mouth, you'll notice it creates a slight snoring sensation on your inhale. And the exhale as well. If you're practicing ujjayi breathing, you may even feel like your inhale and exhale sound as relaxing as the roll of the ocean. Do your best to keep your breath as quiet as possible, but let it be your number one focus today. So don't come into any stretch where you're holding your breath or where you feel like your breath is limited. If that's the case, just take a couple steps back. If you want to set an intention for today's practice, now's a beautiful time to do so. We'll take about 3 or 4 more breaths here before we sit up. Just kidding, we're not sitting up. We're actually starting from the floor. All right, so our first active posture of today is going to be wind removing pose. So go ahead, send your toes up towards the ceiling. Keep your feet side by side to really just get your body in alignment and keep your left leg down on the floor. Slowly, gently draw your right leg up and grab hold of it 2 inches below the knee with all 10 of your fingers interlaced, and try to interlace all the way up to the webbing for a nice anti-arthritic grip. Make sure that your fingers are flat on your knee so you're not creating a little knuckle. And you're going to pull your right leg all the way out to the side to avoid your rib cage and then up towards your shoulder. It's normal for that left shoulder to have rolled off of the mat when you brought your knee out to the side. So take a moment and really relax that left shoulder down. You might even need to readjust your head. Your chin can come more towards your chest. And while it's there, start to pull, gently pulling on your shin to bring your knee a little closer towards your armpit, drawing your belly button back towards your spine and keeping your lower back glued on the mat. Start to also press your shin into your hand's palm so that your biceps begin to engage. Can you stretch through your elbows down towards your hips to draw those shoulders away from your ears? If you are pulling and pushing and your stomach is sucked in, you might feel a pinching compression sensation in your lower right abdomen. That's your ascending colon. Take one more deep inhale and use your exhale to slowly, gently release. Go ahead, bring your feet side by side, once again in line. Ground your right foot to the floor and slowly, gently draw your left leg up. Always working to do the right leg first and then the left leg when we're working with indigestion to avoid constipation. Go ahead, draw that left leg out to the side as much as possible. Once again, work to interlace all 10 fingers up to the webbing in that anti-arthritic grip. Knees out to the side and then up towards your shoulder. Is your right calf muscle still touching the mat? If not, work to flex your toes back towards your face and then use your next exhale to roll that right shoulder back down towards the mat. See if you can even relax your upper body a little bit more, even drawing your chin closer towards your chest. Now begin to draw that elbow up towards your knee. There's so much drawing right now. Pull that belly button back towards your spine. As you're pulling on your shin to bring it towards your knee, you're pressing your shin into your hands palms. Your biceps begin to engage, stretching those elbows down towards your hips. Take 2 more slow but big breaths right here. And as you come around to that next exhale, slowly, gently release. Once again, legs side by side. You can do it one at a time or both at the same time. Go ahead, draw both knees up. Keep your feet relaxed side by side, but work to squeeze your knees in towards each other. Maybe you're just placing one hand on top of each shin. Maybe you can grab hold of the opposite fingers or hand palms or wrists, or maybe even elbow, just depending on what feels good today. Then I want you to relax those shoulders back down towards the mat. Really tuck your chin towards your chest. You might even feel a slight choking of your throat as you work to stretch through the crown of your head to the wall behind you, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Once again, starting to stretch your elbows towards your hips. Work to press your lower back, your sacrum into the mat as much as possible to get as much of your head, your neck, your back flat on the mat as possible. Eventually in the future, total spine will be flat. Take one more deep inhale. And on your exhale, slowly, gently release. Go ahead, kick both of those legs out. Take a moment, just resetting here in Savasana, back to your relaxed, slow breath. Just a couple more postures here on the floor. Go ahead, walk your feet in so that the knees point up towards the ceiling. And once again, ground your lower back on the mat. Amazing. I'm just going to check my notes to make sure we're in line. We sure are. Next up, we're going to go for a figure 4 stretch. So keep your, or shoelace, or so many different, well, we're going to work towards shoelace. Go ahead, stretch that right leg up towards the ceiling and just take a moment, waken that body up in the middle of the day. Make some circles with your ankle in one direction. Change the direction of those circles with your ankles, maybe even clenching and then opening those toes. And then we're going to go ahead and cross your right leg over your left. Make sure there's still some space for you to make some circles with your ankles and that you're not jamming that ankle bone into the thigh. And then use your next exhale and maybe your hand to start to press that right knee away from you and begin to open your hip. Depending on how tight your body is feeling today, this might be where you want to hang out. But if you're ready for a little bit more, your strap is nearby, just in case you need it. You're going to go ahead, draw that left leg up towards your chest. And you can stay a little bit passive in this posture by just allowing the magic to happen here. Or you can even reach through and grab hold the back of your left leg. If that's a far reach for you, you can use that strap. Maybe you're even just placing one hand on top of the left knee because you're still working to stretch your right knee away from you to find some opening in your glute med and your glute max and the side hip. Can you relax those shoulders a little bit more towards the floor? We'll take 2 more breaths right here. And then we're going to work to intensify the stretch a little bit more. So you can stay right here, keep breathing here if you need to. If you're ready for more, we're going to come into like cow face or shoelace legs. So draw that right leg over even more. I'm taking my left hand and grabbing hold of the outside of the right ankle and starting at my knee, walking my fingertips down my left hand to come to the same place. And then both ankles draw a little bit higher. Keep that lower back still on the mat. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Big stretch once again on the outside of the right leg and starting to bring a little bit of the left hip flexor into the party. Let's take 2 more breaths right here. And then I want you to work within your next exhale to bring your legs a little bit more into eagle. So pressing your right thigh into your top of your left leg, your toes can point down towards the end of the mat. Go ahead, send your arms out to the side. Bring your left foot back down towards the floor. And we're going for some twisted root here. Allowing those knees to fall over to the left side of your body for our first spine twist of the day. Work to keep that right shoulder on the mat as much as possible. And use your next breath to exhale and turn and twist if it feels good to look over your right shoulder. If this floor feels impossibly far away from you, great opportunity to use a block. Can I find any blocks right now? or a meditation cushion to help you be a little bit supported in your twist. I deep cleaned yesterday. Apparently I did a very good job. Let's take 2 more breaths right here, just relaxing those shoulders into the floor, making sure that you have not limited your breath with this big stretch. And change slowly, gently bring those knees back up towards the ceiling. You can bring your arms down by your side for some support. Inhale that right leg back up towards the ceiling. And we're gonna keep working with this right leg. So you might want to, once again, use your strap for this one as we come into a stretch for the hamstrings. If it's hard for you to either reach behind your leg or reach up towards the top of the leg, you can apply the strap onto your foot. I'm just gonna do the best I can with the body that I have today. If you don't feel any sort of a stretch right here, working with your exhale to bring that knee a little closer towards your nose, just make sure you're not grabbing hold on the back of the knee directly. You can always extend your left leg out a little bit further. The more that you extend the left leg out, the more you're going to feel that big stretch in the back of the right hamstring. Relax the back of your head and your shoulders on the mat as much as possible. So here we are in a version of big toe stretch. You can reach for that big toe. You're welcome to go for it. We're going to open that leg out to the side now. So maybe you're holding onto your strap and just allowing gravity to do the work. Doing my best to stay grounded in my upper body. So both shoulders are down on the mat, just finding a nice, amazing stretch on the inner thigh. Exhale that tension out of your belly. You can find a little more stability by flexing the toes of the left foot back towards your face, so that calf muscle is also grounded on the floor. Take one more deep inhale. If you extended that left leg, bring it back in for support. As you exhale, bring your right leg back in. Slowly, gently release your grip or your strap. Bring it back to the floor, and we'll take a moment, just windshield wipe those legs, right and left, right and left. Relieve any tension that might have built up. Just use that breath. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So keeping the right foot down on the floor, making sure that lower back is down on the mat. Feel free. You saw I took a moment to readjust my upper body to be as comfortable as possible so that we can find some stillness as we come into the posture. So right foot grounded on the mat, stomach sucked in, lower back pressed into the floor. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling, as straight as feels good for you today. Make some circles with your ankle in one direction. Make some circles in the opposite direction. Think about opening and closing those toes a little bit as you make these circles. And then take your time, bring your left leg to cross your right thigh. Make sure you can still make circles with those ankles. Things aren't jammed against the ankle bone. And then using your exhale, can you bring your 2 knees in one line? Just something to think about to really start to open up that hip. Remember, you can stay right here if you need to. Doing what feels good for your body, this is your practice. If you're ready for something a little bit more, take a deep inhale. As you bring that right knee closer towards your chest, which is big time going to increase the stretch throughout the left glute and hip flexor. Find what feels good for you today. Make sure that lower back is still glued on the mat, that you're not bringing any extra tension into your upper body. If you are, think about using a prop, maybe using that strap. To come a little bit more passive into your stretch. Remember, you can also hold on top of the knee, really just working into your breath, taking your time. Truly think about using your exhale to create a little bit of additional space in your tight spots. Let's take one more big breath right here in our figure 4. And then use your exhale to bring your hands to the outside of the left ankle, and then stack your knees one on top of each other. Bringing your left hand to the outside of the right knee. Go ahead, trace it down your shin. Ooh, I'm feeling it so much more in my left glute with my right leg on top than I did in the opposite direction. So just do the best that you can with your body today. Remember, every day is different. You might try the same exact posture this evening, and it could feel completely different. So just thank your body for whatever it can do for you today. Relax those shoulders more towards the floor. Find a little tucking of your chin towards your chest. See if you can find a little bit more lift of those ankles towards the upper body. Take one more big inhale. And then on your exhale, gently release your hands from your shins. You can send them out to the side. Press your top thigh into your lower thigh. You might want to bring your prop onto the other side as we slowly, gently come into twisted root, dropping our knees over to the right. Can you relax your left shoulder back down towards the floor? If it feels good for you, you can turn and twist towards that left shoulder, finding a little more stretch in your neck. Come back to your long, slow, smooth, deep breaths. We'll take one more right here in our spine twist. Enjoy this big inhale. And use your exhale to find movement slowly, gently, regrounding the right foot with the floor, inhaling your left leg up towards the ceiling, maybe making some circles again, maybe putting that strap on before you go for a big inhale. I'm going to go for the strap on this left side because I know that my left glute has been really tight. It's been hurting all weekend. And no hero. Stretch that leg up. I want to be able to come back tomorrow. I want to find movement every day, so I'm just going to be mindful of what my body can do, and I hope you're doing the same. If we ever do a posture and you're not sure what to do, take a moment, make a note of it, reach out to me afterwards. I'm happy to talk you through it. All right, so remember, if you want to, you can extend that right leg out to create even deeper of a stretch onto this left leg. I'm going to keep mine bent for a little bit more grounding and support on the floor. Take 2 more breaths here. And on your next exhale, as far as feels good for you, just allow that left leg to come out to the side. Finding a little bit more stretch on the inner thigh. See if you can continue to stretch through your heel as you even flex your toes back towards your face. I hope this feels as amazing for you as it feels for me right now. Last 2 breaths. Beautiful. Use your exhale, send that leg back up. You can bend your knee if you need to help you get rid of the strap, and then slowly, gently bring your left leg down to meet with the right. We'll do one more posture here, laying down on our backs before we sit up. Feel free to take a moment to windshield wipe your legs, though, just relieving any tension built up in that lower back, any tightness you still might feel in those hips. It's a great opportunity to roll it out. All right, we're going to go for some reclined bound angle here to end. So bring the soles of your feet together and allow those knees to fall out heavy to the side. You might find you even want to press into the outsides of your feet, giving yourself a little bit of a glute bridge. shaking out any tension that you might feel in your upper body. You can do whatever feels good with your hands today. Maybe you're using them to help gently pet and warm up. You're still tight hip flexors. Maybe you're super relaxed in this posture, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. If you find that your lower back is really arching off of the floor, see if walking your feet a little further away from the center line of your body helps to make this stretch more of a possibility for you. Come back to your slow breath. My goal when I breathe is to make my inhale 4 to 6 seconds and my exhale minimally 6 seconds, maybe 8. I know that if I say that we have 1 minute left of movement, that means it's going to take me somewhere around 5 breaths to get to the end of the minute. When I first started practicing yoga, I found it very difficult to tune into the now and the mindfulness aspect. I would lay on my mat and think about what to make for dinner, who I upset that day, why I totally stink at life, and what I can do about it. And when I took the time to just recognize that I'm amazing just for showing up, to really focus on slowing down my breath and being present, to take the time to count my breath. Wow, that changed my practice, definitely changed my mental attitude, really made me love myself more by appreciating everything I could do. Pick whichever side is your favorite. And we're gonna just clamshell our legs back together, roll over onto that side. Ooh, take a moment in a fetal position. We're going to use our next exhale to gently press ourselves up to a seated position. I found one. All right. Beautiful. You made it up to a seated position. Next up, we have Sukhasana, which is easy pose. So you're going to come into whichever seated position feels best for you. I have relatively open hips. So for me, it feels really good to bring those legs very close to the center line of your body, and for my knees to so relax down towards the floor. However, if you came into some sort of crisscross applesauce and your knees are all the way up towards your chest, I encourage you to use a prop. Maybe you're just grabbing a pillow off of the couch nearby, but finding a way to lift up your hips is going to help you relax those knees down towards the floor. And then you can see, depending on which foot I have below, my hips are a little bit more open. So I really enjoy having my right foot on top, which allows me to relax both knees down towards the floor. You just got to practice and find what feels right for you. And remember, this is yoga practice. It's not yoga perfect. If it was yoga perfect, you wouldn't come back. And every day is different. So every day your body reacts differently. Let's take a couple moments right here, just coming back to our breath. Find some length through the crown of your head. Let me shake those shoulders out for a second. Find some engagement of your abdominal core. It's going to help that back to continue to feel amazing as well. And then stretch up through the crown of your head. If you want a little bit more grounding, you can have your palms facing down towards your hands. You can take a bend of those elbows. If you just are trying to open yourself up to receive a little bit more energy, think about turning your hands palms over to face up towards the ceiling. And inhale in all that good energy right here. Notice if with your inhales, your shoulders start to creep up towards your ears. That's a big sign of stress. So really just work to stay as relaxed in your body while you once again focus on your breath. On your next exhale. While staying lifted with your chest, I want you to simply drop your chin towards your shoulders, your chest. Staying lifted through the upper and back body. We're just bringing your chin down towards your chest to start to find a little stretch in our neck. We're going to find movement on the exhale. So when you're ready to exhale, go ahead, bring one ear to your shoulder. Take a big inhale over there. Take a moment to just notice how it feels. When you're exhale, to bring your chin back down towards your chest. Big inhale at the bottom. Once again, just using that exhale to find movement. If you come across anything that feels so tense and tight, consider bringing a hand up to find a little bit of extra stretching. Little self-myofascial release, if you will. And if not, just keep rolling through. Pausing on your inhale. We just want to make sure you get even time on both sides. So if you were just hanging out on one side, enjoying the stretch, take a moment. Use your exhale to bring that chin back towards your chest and find the stretch on the opposite side. Amazing. Use that next exhale to once again bring your chin towards your chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Even drawing those elbows behind you, pull your belly back in. And inhale, lift yourself up, stacking your head over your heart, over your hips. Ah, great work. Let's go ahead and activate that upper body. So on your next big inhale, bring those arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, rain those fingers back down towards the floor. Two more just like that. Inhale, maybe palms face up, thumbs point towards the back of the room. Exhale, palms face down. One more time, up and down. We're going to end on an up. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last time with movement here, we're going to inhale up. Both arms stretch up towards the ceiling. Use your next exhale to keep stretching through your right hand fingertips and bring that left hand down towards the floor. Maybe even reaching over towards the left side on the exhale. Inhale, back up. Both arms up. Exhale. Right hand comes down towards the floor. Left hand can reach towards the right side. Inhale up. Now, if you're not sitting on a prop like me, exhale down. Continue moving with your own breath. Maybe you can even bring that full forearm down towards the ground if you're not super lifted. It's really starting to wake up the sides of the body, getting a little bit more movement in those shoulders, keeping those arms up overhead, stressing the shoulders just a little bit. I want you to make sure that we finish even Stevens. So make sure that you get one more big breath on each side. And then when you finish with that second breath, inhale both arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring those fingertips down towards your shoulders. Yay. Awesome. We're going to just get a couple of shoulder rolls here, starting to wake up our back a little bit more as well. So come into cat with your upper body. Your lower rib comes towards your hips. Your elbows start to come towards each other and towards the front of the room. Take an inhale. Lifting up your chest, elbows stretch up towards the ceiling. As you start your exhale, elbows come behind you, come down towards the floor. We're back a little bit more into that cat. So inhaling forward, still with the rounding. Up, start to open that chest, squeeze shoulder blades together, a little bit more cow. Exhale back and down. Work with that own breath 2 more times. Inhale forward. Maybe your elbows can kiss a little bit closer and up. Exhale back and down. One more time, inhale forwards and up. Exhale back. Hang out here in the down once you get to it. Still working to pull your elbows in towards each other, finding some separation of those shoulder blades behind you. We're going to just change the direction of our breath. So now we're going to inhale back and up. Exhale forward and down. Inhale back and up. Exhale forward and down. Get that back body involved. As much as feels good for you, starting to feel a little bit more warmed up. We got one more time through. Inhale back and up. Exhale forward and down. Beautiful. Release those hands slowly, gently. Roll yourself up. Oh, yeah, let's take a nice spine twist. That sounds delightful. I'm gonna remove myself from this prop because I don't feel like it's honoring me, but you're welcome to stay up on yours if it is honoring you. Next, inhale, bring those arms up overhead. Once more, thumbs towards the back of the room, stretching up through our waist, not just shoulders creeping up towards your ears. So creating as much space as you can, shoulders towards your ears, pull your belly in again. One more big inhale, stretch up, and in your exhale, turn towards the left. Right hand comes forward, left hand comes back. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, turn towards the right. As you start to feel a little bit warmer, using your breath here, inhale, arms up. Exhaling, bringing those arms down. You might even explore using your front arm, that forearm, to gently press against your shin to help find a little bit deeper of a twist on your exhale. If you've decided, you know what, I'd rather just hang out on one side, that's okay. You're gonna hang out a couple more breaths on that one side. And then go ahead, switch to the other so you can keep it nice and even, Stevens. Remember, the more that you slow down your breath here, the deeper the opportunity that you have to twist. Just moving with intention. Go ahead, get one more on each side. Last time to inhale those arms up. Exhale, let's stretch out to the side. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Maybe even, press a little side to side through your hand palm. Whoa. Great. Okay, hands come down towards the floor. Let's get weird. That's what I say. Okay, next up, we're just going to go for a little bit of a Sukhasana forward fold. I'm going to turn to the side just to talk to all of my friends out there, my future friends, who might have any sort of a lower back problem. So when we come into a seated position, I really want you to do your best to avoid this rounding slouching that when we're tired, both physically and mentally, can happen. There is zero support happening right now from my abs, and I quickly start to feel some tension in my back by simply taking your hands on your thighs and pulling yourself forward. You get to keep your sit bones grounded on the floor, finding that hinge of the lower back and a little contraction of the belly is gonna keep you feeling good. Okay, so if your lower back hurts, you can just stay right here. Staying lifted with your chest, keeping this nice flat back, as flat as you can, keeping those sit bones ground on the floor. I'm just gonna walk forward. If your back is feeling good and you want a little bit more of a stretch in that upper body, once you're hinged forward with your sit bones still ground on the mat, you can start to walk your hands, palms forward. Just find what feels good for you today. Make sure that you're not limiting your breath. Head can start to relax down towards the floor. You can even actively press into your hands, palms to once again encourage a little separation of the shoulder blades. Take your time. Let's walk our hands all the way over to the left as much as possible. Left hand down on the floor, right hand palm presses on top of it, and that helps to draw that right shoulder forward a little bit, left shoulder back, and it also encourages me to really push through that right sit bone to make sure it's still grounded with the floor, finding a little bit of a pinching, squeezing sensation through that left side of the body. Take one more deep inhale. Use your exhale, gently walk through the center. Find that range of motion over to the right side. Option to once again place your left hand palm on top of the back of the right. And then start to draw that left shoulder forward. Right shoulder goes back. Press into those hands palms. Feel a little stretch in the armpit all the way down through your sit bone. One more deep inhale. And on your exhale, once again, walk yourself forward. Ah, great news. Coming off of our bums, walk those hands forward, lift yourself up. Let's come into tabletop. Get your hands, palms, ground on the mat right underneath of your shoulders. And spread those fingertips nice and wide like they're a starfish. If you're actually working on a mat, think about lining up your middle finger or your pointer finger with the end of the mat and just do your best to stack your hips on top of your heels. Go ahead, straighten your arms. So really push those hands, palms into the floor. Take a deep inhale, tuck your chin towards your chest, look towards your knees. Enjoy the exhale up here. One more deep inhale. And now we'll use that exhale to find movement. So arms stay straight as your chest comes more towards your triceps or biceps. Find that arch of your lower back that even spreads your glutes, knees pressed into the floor. Big inhale. And use your exhale to press yourself back into cat. So our elbows stay locked or engaged the whole time. After you've moved through each position once or twice, you can really start to notice how your body feels today. Maybe giving yourself a couple little extra shakes of your tail. Ooh, maybe a couple little extra wiggles of those shoulders to help separate those shoulder blades, just finding what feels good for you. One more time in each direction. Awesome. Go ahead, send your hips back towards your heels. Take a moment right here in child's pose. Allowing that head to fall heavy down towards the floor. If your shoulders are feeling really tight or tired, remember you can always bend your elbows as generously as you want to. You can even reach your hands back towards your heels, so encouraging a little extra separation of the shoulder blades of the upper body. We're going to take 2 more breaths right here and then come into puppy pose. If your chest is feeling really tight, think about walking your hands out a little bit wider. It's going to help as we bring our hips to be in line on top. My shirt tuck came out. Hold on. As we bring our hips to be in line on top of our knees. Oh, anyone ever told me I'd be so worried about modesty, I'd say, are you talking to me? But I really am. Okay, so having those hands really far out wide is going to make it easier to get that chest towards the floor. You can be kind on yourself and even have your chin tucked towards your chest. If you want to engage even more of that upper back, stretch that chin forward. Maybe even walking those hands, palms back forward. Great work. Go ahead, take one more big inhale. Oh, with our exhale, we're gonna pull ourselves all the way forward. Let's come into actually a straight arm stretch. Ooh, a little bit of up dog or seal. So separating those legs out, getting a big stretch in those abs, pushing into those hands, palms, looking up towards the ceiling. Take a deep inhale, and on our exhale, we're just going to bend those knees again. We're going to find a big stretch in our ankles next. So go ahead, walk your legs together and make sure there's a little bit of space behind you for your hand palms as you come into a kneeling position. All right, so we're gonna bring our hands behind us for this next one. Get a little bit of a chest opener, you're welcome. And then one leg at a time, you're just going to press the top of the foot into the floor and lift up your knee. I do want you to really be careful with how your feet are underneath of you. So I'm just gonna turn my bum towards the camera. So you can see that as I place my feet down, I have my toes coming in towards each other and my heels next to each other. It's okay if your heels start to open up a little bit towards the side, but you don't want to turn the soles of your feet in towards the floor. So just do the best that you can with the body that you have today right here. I know that my left ankle is really tight. I sprained it a couple months ago. So it's easy for me to find a big stretch lifting up that right leg. My left knee's barely coming up off the floor. That's okay. We're just working on those connections, on creating a little bit more circulation. And if I did this every single day, I know that shortly I'd be able to lift that left leg up just as much as the right. Awesome. Go ahead, get one more on each side. Just doing the best that you can with the body you have today. And then lift yourself up. Yay. Take your time. Let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? We're running out of time. There's so many great stretches to do. I want to make sure that we get a big stretch once more into our hips, and we're going to get a nice quad stretch as well. So lift yourself up and step that right leg forward. We're going to shift our weight forward, and I want you to make sure as you gently shift your weight forward that your right knee is as well stacked on top of your right ankle as possible. You might need to wiggle just a little bit. You just want to make sure that knee is not going past your toe. And if your knee has barely even approached your ankle, you're just not gonna be able to enjoy this amazing opening. Can you find a little bit of a squeeze in that left glute as well? Oh, amazing, feels good. You can find some support of your hand on your right thigh. Go ahead, take one more big inhale. And on your exhale, start to reach your hands back towards your heel. Maybe you find that you need to bring your hands down and even walk yourself back one step at a time. Ooh, start to flex the toes of your right foot back towards your face to bring the stretch not just into your hamstring, but into your calf. And then the more that you bring your nose towards your knee, the more you're going to add in a back stretch. Remember, if your back isn't feeling good, just find that flat back, that forward hinge of your belly coming towards your thighs is really going to help out right here. Go ahead, take one more deep inhale. And exhale, we're going to walk it forward again. You can stay right here if you want to. Or we're going to add in a little bit of a quad stretch. I'm going to keep my left hand ground on the floor. If the floor feels really far away, consider placing your left hand on the block. Go ahead, bend up your right knee. Reach back for it. Oh my gosh, it's so intense. It's so intense, I can't even right now. So I'm not gonna grab hold of my actual foot. I'm just gonna do my best to reach for it, squeezing through that left glute a little bit to bring this stretch into my quad. Ooh, can you release your shoulders away from your ears? Take two more breaths right here. If you did grab hold of your foot, work to release it with control on that next exhale. Go ahead, bring your right hand down to the floor. Remove that prop if you've got it. Tuck your left toes under, lift that left knee up, send your right leg back to meet with the left. Let's take just a moment, pedaling out right here in down dog. You can walk your feet in or out. Just bringing that belly towards your thighs. Biceps come closer towards your ears. Oh, so good. Gently relax and release those knees back down towards the floor. And let's go ahead and get the other side. So lifting yourself back up, you're going to step that left leg forward. Find that forward hinge, little squeeze of your right glute, just doing the best you can to stack that left knee on top of your ankle. Relax that upper body, coming back to your breath. We're going to use that next exhale to start to send our hips back towards our heels again. Remember, you can bring your hands to the floor and start to walk yourself there, or just move with intention slowly. Oof, the more that you flex those toes back towards your face, the more that you're going to involve the whole back of the leg. Flexing that toe back to my face got me right in that spot in my glute that needs an extra stretch. And remember, using your exhale to bring your forehead or your nose a little closer towards that knee. It's just going to activate that back a little bit more. Oy vey's mir. Oh, such a great stretch in that upper body. One more big inhale. On your exhale, if you fold it forward, lift yourself up. Plant your foot back on the floor. Let's hinge forward once more. Option to bring that prop under your right hand. And we're going to either hang out once again in this hip flexor stretch, or option to bring it into a quad stretch for that right leg. If the quad stretch didn't work for you, if balance was like a super issue, think about just tucking that back right toe under, just preparing to apply a little bit more pressure into the knee. I know that we don't have any extra support under our knees, so that can be a challenge for some people too. Lift myself up, bend that leg, reach back for the foot. Ooh, oh my gosh. So much stretch in that quad. A little bit of a twist as well. Let's see, 2 more breaths. And on that next exhale, you're going to gently release your hand from your foot. Slowly bring it back down. Move that prop out of the way, plant both hands down on the floor. Once again, tuck that right toe under, lift it up, wiggle or send your left leg back to meet with the right. One more opportunity. Oh, to stretch those hips up and down dog, to press up onto your feet, to pedal through those feet. Just moving your body and finding what feels good. Maybe shaking your head yes and no. Finding a little left and right. Great work today, y'all. Take your time, slowly, gently release your knees towards the floor, untuck those toes, bring yourself back, allow those glutes to come towards the mat, kick your legs out in front of you, take your time. Go ahead, lay down, and let's come into our final Savasana, if you can believe it. Starting with Savasana, ending with Savasana as well. We've got some great stretches for the whole body today, all the way down from our ankles, a little stimulation of our toes. Have to focus on stretching through the crown of our head as much as possible. Take this time in your Savasana to really work to relax your breath. You've worked so hard for the last 54 minutes, so take this time to melt into your mat. Allow it to support you. As you start to do a little scan of your body from head to toe, just notice how you feel. Do you feel different than when your practice started? What feels different? Are you open to all the amazing possibilities that the universe has to bring your way? Do you feel any tingling as your body continues to circulate all the freshly oxygenated blood from your amazing deep breaths during today's practice to help continue to break down scar tissue, inflammation, discomfort. See if here at the end of practice you can slow your breath down even more. Maybe that means elongating the pause between inhale and exhale. Maybe the opportunity to elongate the breath itself. Now that you're relaxing on the floor, can you hear your heartbeat? Notice all the places in your body when you're quiet and still that you can hear or even feel your pulse after practice. Whether coming to the mat today was something that was really easy for you or something that felt like a struggle, take a time to thank yourself. No matter what your practice looked like today, even if you spent the entire class laying down in Savasana, or maybe you just showed up by sitting at your desk and listening. All that you can do is show up. That's the most important part. Whether or not you do any of the asanas, doesn't even matter. Just making this time for yourself, for your physical and mental health, to just slow your breath down and be can make such a difference. I encourage you to spend as much time here in this Savasana as honors you. If you'd like to close up practice together, take your time. Feel free to keep your eyes closed. Move with intention as we slowly, gently find our way to a seated position on our mats. Once you get there, bring your hands palms to the center of your chest. Take a moment, tuck your chin. Reflect on why you came today as you honor yourself. Please know that if you have any questions or concerns about anything that I said or we did today, you are always welcome to reach out. If you have any personal aches or pains that you'd like me to create a class around, I would love to do that for you. In the meantime, I encourage you to think good thoughts, to speak good words, to eat good foods, and do good deeds, and all the things that nourish you from the inside out. Take a moment, bring your thumb up to your drishti, your third eye. Begin to lift your elbows, your chin, and your beautiful face up towards the ceiling. And know that the light in me honors and sees the light within you. Thank you so much for coming. Namaste.